So what can we expect today? Well, heavy rainfall will continue with falls in the 50 to 100 millimetres and in some pockets up to 120 millimetres is possible. The damaging winds will continue today. 60 to 70 kilometre an hour wind gusts are possible, and in some pockets potentially up to 100 kilometres an hour in areas around the south coast, mid-north coast, including the Sydney metropolitan area. What we do expect is that this situation will start to ease as the system moves further south and east on Thursday. But we did see conditions deteriorate overnight. Intense rainfall reached 150 millimetres of rain in some areas, and in the Ulladulla area over 200 millimetres. This intense rainfall is causing rivers and creeks and inland lakes to rise rapidly. As a result, the New South Wales State Emergency Service has issued 7 emergency warnings overnight. Approximately 335 properties have been impacted by these emergency warnings. In the very early hours of this morning, the SES, volunteers and our emergency services partners door-knocked Borelli Lakes, where over 200 properties were impacted by flooding, some of them over floor level. We are continuing to assess this damage and have sent aerial assets, helicopters, our high clearance vehicles and our state emergency service partners to that area to assist with the damage assessments. Some areas of Sanctuary Point are also under an emergency warning for flooding, and residents there have been asked to move to higher ground. The entrance north and Woombarul, at that location there are 35 properties that have been asked to evacuate, and this is due to the coastal erosion occurring in that area.
Good morning, everybody. So what we've seen in the last 24 hours has been that low pressure system rapidly deepen off the central parts of the New South Wales coast. It is currently still sitting offshore from the Hunter coast, and what we're seeing at the moment is another trough that has pushed that rainfall further south towards the south coast. Overnight, we saw some fairly intense rainfall rates in places, and that was more so around the Illawarra area, and that's where we picked up about 80 to 120 millimetres over the course of 6 hours. Now, that kind of rainfall does mean that we see very quick and rapid rises in some of those creeks and river systems, and what we've also seen in the past 24 hours has been a number of flood warnings being issued. So at the moment, there is a flood warning for minor to moderate flooding on the Hawkesbury Nepean River, where we're expecting potential for minor flooding at Menangle, potentially getting up to moderate through the afternoon, but also minor flooding further downstream at Penrith and North Richmond. Further south, we have also issued a number of flood warnings for the Shoalhaven River as well as Sussex Inlet, and this is one area to keep a close eye on just because of the rainfall that we have seen overnight and still getting a feel for how that rain is responding in the creeks and rivers.